I don't know.
Oh,
so just
Jesus.
because I feel like, for me
I'm gonna
personally,
answer you.
but some of the other viers might want to know, how did you know, what did y'all do? Like,
okay,
be specific if you could.
So I'm gonna be specific because I said I've talked to one, but I've actually talked to two now.
Okay.
One, it seemed a bit more serious, but we never physically had sexual intercourse. So I learned that you don't have to have intercourse to have sex because trans men develop a internal penis. So all you really have to do is create that friction. And also as a trans woman, I'm not really as sexually driven as I was when I was a male.
Really?
So I can get off on a lot of different things because when you're on things like spironolactone and things like that, that block the testosterone, that it doesn't operate the same. It still works, but it's not attracted to the same types of things. So I would get off with him with us just grinding and us humping around and licking and touching.
Kissing, touching, rubbing.
Just that heat of the moment, that's sexual. Okay. That's like great sexual energy. And I haven't done stuff like that since I was little, like a child.
Welcome to Open Relationship Podcast, y'all. We are at number 29.
Yeah.
Wow. Before you turn 30, last good years of the 20s.
That's crazy.
How you feel?
Amazing.
I feel great.
Well, welcome to Open Relationship Podcast with an open and honest conversation about everything from A to Z as it pertains to LGBTQ plus community and beyond. I'm your host, Rodney.
I'm Devin.
I'm Tay.
And I'm Solomon.
And we have a special, lovely, Miss Lovely, beautiful guest. Who are you for the people?
My name is Antonia, a.k.a. Tony Blanco.
Yes.
So
Welcome, Tony.
This is on Antonia.
Right.
Get it right. Well, Miss Antonia, how was your week?
My week was rather challenging, but we're here.
Oh, elaborate if you want to.
So the company that I worked for shut down. So I'm currently looking for a new job. So, you know.
Oh.
Right. Navigating through. Yes. Well, you'll find the perfect one for you was right there waiting. So, yeah.
Other things popped up also. So.
Okay. Well, yeah, we know how that goes. Yeah. Good and bad. We know how that goes.
Get that money out. Solomon, how was your week?
It's been a good week. I don't think I have any complaints. I'm just looking forward to the holidays.
And your birthday.
And my birthday.
With a special family?
For my birthday.
Like out there.
Very special family. Right?
Devin, a sweetheart.
Sweetie.
I had a good week. I had an amazing birthday weekend. I was off on Monday, so I was able to kind of just like get back to normal and everything. The week was good. It's been good so far. As you can imagine, my students are like anxious, on the edge of their seat, just all over the place a little bit because Friday is our last day before the holiday break. So they always get kind of like anxious before that. And teachers do too. So I'm just ready to just knock it out of the park for the rest of the week and start fresh when we get back. I have an observation tomorrow, so y'all pray for me.
Oh, you're gonna do great.
On pay.
Yeah, but just get out of my classroom. Like, I don't want anybody in my classroom while I'm teaching.
But that's how they know, number one, that you know what you're doing.
Right.
And that's when you get to show off.
Right. And I will say, since you said that, I wasn't going to brag. But I will say, y'all know I'm in the grad school program. So my assistant principal is like my coach at school. And she communicates with my grad school since my job is paying for it. So we do like every so often during our semester of grad school, we'll do like a gateway. So my school will assess all the work that I've been turning in and the observation videos that I've sent them. And then my assistant principal will also turn in like all of her notes on me, like all of that kind of stuff, her opinion, how I'm growing, like all of that. And I got 22 out of 24.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good. It just made me more proud to be like, all right, you're heading in the right direction and you're doing a good job with these kids. So
Hand clap for Devin.
Yes.
oh, thank you.
Yes,
Hand clap. It ain't used to be in the schools. I know. All right, Tay, how was your week?
It's been a challenging week for me and my family. We lost 2 family members back to back. So just been dealing with that pretty much. But
Yeah. You know we're here for
yeah, we have to travel to Louisiana Friday for the first funeral. And then we have to wait till my uncle actually gets shipped to Louisiana because he was in California. So yeah, his funeral probably won't be till after the holidays and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been dealing with.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, as I always say, when I get to heaven, hallelujah. That's a good song.
It is a good song.
Walk around heaven all day. Hey, that's a place to be. Don't give me a shout.
Or singing.
Right. Or choking.
Look, I got a grandma
Because you
over
was
there.
singing Monday.
Over there. Okay, well,
Hold on. How was your week?
I forgot.
He was going to tell us anyway.
No, I really about to talk about you won't be a second. I really did. My week is actually going really, really good.
How was I'm sorry, but how was Monday R&B?
It was really nice.
I'm sorry I couldn't
my
go.
God. A lot of people showed up. I was very, very. Sometimes you know how much influence you have.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure other people came, but to see people actually saying, I came because of you. They walked up, introduced themselves. They took pictures with me. I'm like, oh my God.
All the support.
So it was really nice. Like, I really appreciate it. He wanted me to do it again. However, I cannot do that every back-to-back every Monday. I'll probably do once a month.
Okay.
Start next year, but right now I just want to be, I have too much on my plate.
Right. Overwhelm yourself,
Overwhelm myself. But my job, you guys, so make a long story short, I went to my head office is in way up north, like by Duluth and all that. So I had a very bad experience. For the first time going in, new employee, you know what I'm saying, going to the office, it was not pleasant. It was very bad. I don't want to say too much, but it was horrible. For me to say something horrible is horrible because I'm not even a sensitive person. So I went up to the change command, filed a complaint, said for me to be a new employee, to be new to this company, how I was treated, like I was a rag dog off the street. Trying to verify me, and I have all my credentials.
Do you think was it at all racially motivated or just in
I really don't want to say that because it's going to really piss me off even more.
Okay.
So I just want to say that she was having a bad day, but you had the right one.
Right.
So he got reported, and they moved me to the Queen Center.
Yes,
So I'm
congratulations.
in the tallest building. Is it the tallest building in Atlanta?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. I
seen
I
your,
just moved here a couple
Yeah,
On your
so like it's a
story.
beautiful building. Oh my God, y'all. It's so beautiful.
Can we come to your office for lunch like they do on TV?
Nah, come on, meet you in the lobby.
Bitch, can we come to the lobby and then come up to your office?
I don't know, they strike the way the way they did me, I'm an employee.
Oh, yeah, never
Yeah,
mind.
so-
Because I would hate to cause you to lose your job because I showed out at your job. So
Because Devin will show out.
But hold on, I got one thing to add, y'all. The gym, I just signed up for it. Like, I get a little discount, but it is like state-of-the-art gym. Like, they have people handing you towels. They give you wine.
Have you been there? Did you go already?
Yes, I
Is
went
that why
today.
you sent us the longer locker combination this time?
No. So it's going to
Okay.
stop. So I'm dropping LA Fitness. I can say their name now. LA
Okay.
Fitness no longer. It's hey to my new shoe. But this is my first time spending like over $100 for a gym membership. So.
Okay.
But I would say just the way they have it, it's like rich people in there, and if I was
Yes.
well,
Oh,
baby,
if you were seeing green,
I'd be like, "Hey, Daddy, which one you working on?"
Can you get
So-
a +1?
I was about to say.
I have yes passes.
Okay.
Look, I'll tell you, if I was a sugar baby,
I'm definitely.
It sounds like we might want to visit, may or may not want to visit the gym.
I'm definitely looking
no
out.
man was looking. One brought me a drink at the bar. Like, oh my God, you're new here. Yes, I
And they have a
am.
bar in the gym, so it's like a country club?
It's not. I don't know how you describe. I never had been to a
Okay.
gym like this, but like it's not like a regular gym.
Okay. It's
Like,
giving mini country club, I feel
Yeah,
like.
if you, I don't know. I never been, so I don't want to say yes or no because my
Okay.
mom is saying he doing too much. But like, they give you wine, they give you a towel, they give you shoes, they give you a robe, all kind of stuff. So
Okay, yes, I like
yeah,
that.
it's good.
We might do our next show live from.
Child, live from the sun. Damn it, yes, this more.
All right, so we are sipping on. We have Bumbu again from our people over at Bumbu. Brett Barish is the founder of it. I don't know. I don't want to say founder and CEO, but this is his liquor, and they have Bumbu, they have Bel Air, like we told you guys before. So this is just a variation of it, and it's really good, really smooth, very high class. What do y'all think about it? Like, how do you feel when you taste it?
I'm drunk already.
Yes. Okay. See.
And I only had like 3 sips.
We need you like that.
Yes. Thank you, Brett. Thank you, Brett. Also wanted to shout out production.
Yes.
Okay. We wanted to shout out production for 2 things. One, for the amazing birthday video they made for me. And I would say that I was so like taken off guard because I assumed that these guys would do something for me. But to see some people like show me that they care in such a huge way, and we haven't met for that long. Well, that long ago, even though we've developed a really good relationship, that was really special. So thank you for the video, but also shout out to our production team for everything they do. We feel like they really like hold us accountable for things. They'll tell us like when we're wrong or when we need to do better. They really just take us to another level. So we just appreciate it. So that's the shout out, and this is the sponsor.
3 Millage Production. If you're nasty.
Right? Did I say? Because I didn't say the name. Did I?
Yeah. You did.
But it is over there, though.
Yeah. Well, you know, some people slow.
Because I didn't think I
Oh,
said the name.
some people just don't understand.
Okay. Moving on.
Right. Hey, Tay.
All right. So on Pillow Talk with Tay today, we're going to be talking about Nikita Dragon. She's an influencer and content creator who was arrested and held in a men's unit in Miami jail this week. Dragon was arrested after allegedly causing a disturbance and walking around the Good Time Hotel pool naked. According to locals, hotel security reportedly told Dragon to stop, and she threw water at them. Police were called and arrived at her room, where security staff again told her to stop disturbing at the hotel, and she would have to leave. Dragon allegedly then threw an open bottle at security and police officers and hitting them and covering them in water. Dragon was reportedly asked a judge during her hearing where she could be moved out of the men's unit. The judge told her, "I don't make those rules up there." So what I want to first say about this is that, to public knowledge, Nikita Dragon is legally a female, what I read. So not only that, she looks like a female, so I'm not understanding where the misunderstanding, how she get put in a male's unit.
It was most likely intentional.
Now, if her ID is her license say female, then it was intentional.
Right, because she's legally a female.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was definitely intentional, which I think was wrong. Because, I mean, if you transit and you still have those features and stuff, they may assume, then that's a different story. But she looks like a female. She looks like a female.
Yeah.
Full
I'm not
female.
surprised, though, that happened.
Not in Florida.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I'm
Especially in Florida.
Look what they governor is.
I feel like anywhere almost there's a good chance that would still happen to someone that was trans.
I don't think in Atlanta.
So I didn't run into this problem until I worked at a gym. And so I was on a corporate call because, sometimes if you have a problem, you call corporate. Right. I just happened to take that call. And a gym manager was like, so I have a patron who wants to use one of the bathrooms, but they were transgendered. And so they were like, well, what do I do? because the other guests they're complaining. And I was like, oh shit, I don't know.
Right.
And so then I had to I immediately went to Google and was like, what do you do? And da da da. Right. And so I found out that it's really, you go by what's on the ID. And so that's why I think number one, the LGBT community is so layered, but the trans community is even more layered. And that's just because I don't have a whole lot of knowledge. But then when like me being someone who's just working in my workplace and then I'm getting confronted with that question, then you have to like stop and figure it out. Like it really does become your concern then.
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know what to do still.
I will say this. If you tell me you are a female, I'm not going to be disrespectful and ask you for your ID. I won't do that to a female.
Right.
Now, I might get some flack for this.
Oh,
now,
Jesus.
if you're just not transitioning, I'm gonna say, hey, are you trying to be like, Medea? I'm not trying to be funny, but like, are you trying to be like Medea? Because like some people do like stupid stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you tell me like I'm a legit female, I won't disrespect you.
Yeah.
I'll let you go to the bathroom. Like, go where you want to go.
Yeah.
But then it's also, but I think that's applaudable. But at the same time, like if you're working somewhere and then you have to be concerned with everybody,
like the safety of people.
The safety of people, the care and the concern of other people, and then they make a fuss about it. Like you also have to diffuse it. And so like, and I also understand.
I guess for me, how will you know it's a transgender unless they walk around naked and they still have the male genitalia? Then that's kind of, I won't be politically correct. That might be weird to some people, but I will hope that you walk around with a towel at least. I don't know how females walk in there, but I know men walk around naked. So I'm probably sure women do too. So I'm not going to say I won't be alarmed if I see a trans man, I see a vagina. I'm like, oh. You know what I'm saying? I'm just being real, so I'm going to do this on this show. Right. But I will respect them. Like, as long as you're not trying to play with yourself, you just being naked. Right. Who am I to tell you I don't like vagina? No way. So who am I to tell you, like, you can't be naked? You know what I mean? So,
well, I'm not sure if she still has her, but that could be the reason why they placed her there. I'm not sure she still has those parts, but she was around walking around naked.
Like, would they? Oh, so they wouldn't have to ask her because they saw it because she was naked.
That's a good point.
Okay.
So that may be why they placed her in. I mean, we don't know. Again, this is just all,
speculation.
Yeah, that could be the reason, because that's a kind of indecent exposure. So that's tied to your genitalia. So
right.
Good point out, Ted.
Yeah. So,
and I also want to point out that I think it's also important to acknowledge that no matter who you are, no matter your gender, no matter your sexuality, that there is a level of decency.
That's true.
So prior to the arrest, there was a whole bunch of behaviors that need to be addressed.
That's true. I was going to point that out. So I'm glad you did, because that was very erratic behavior.
She definitely deserved to get arrested.
Yeah.
I don't think she should have been in the men's prison, because she could have been raped.
Exactly.
She could have been beaten. She could have been killed, because transgendered women are on the top of the murder of the kill list, especially in America. So.
And that's something I had never noticed. We're gonna really get deep into that, because I'm really happy you're here, because like you don't really. It's like it's unknown. I guess that's how some white people feel Black people death, like, because if you're not surrounding yourself with it enough to know. You don't know that Black people might be dying in alarming numbers. Like, I would not know that transgenders are dying at alarming numbers, because I have like one transgender friend, but like, we're not talking every day. You know what I'm saying? And she's not bringing it up to my knowledge. If that's the case.
I see it on social media a lot, but before we get into like further, do you want to like just kind of give the audience, because I don't think anybody knows yet, you know what I mean, that you're transgender, so do you want to talk about a little bit?
Oh, that is a good
just
they
so
know, they definitely know I'm transgender. But I've been transitioning for a year and a month now. After 36 years, I lived a false life, like for 36 whole years.
Oh my God.
A whole facade, just because I wanted approval. And eventually, I just got tired. And out of the blue, I decided to transition, and it came it came to a lot of people as a shock, but the people who really knew me, they knew I've always been a lady. So,
Yes, I know that's right, lady.
always been a lady.
Okay.
Well, that's it for Pillow Talk today. We're going to cut it short because we have a lot to unpack on the Menage a Trois. So we're going to turn it over to Solomon.
All right. So for today's Menage a Trois.
I'm not laughing at you, baby. Because it's inside the joke. I don't know if you know what's going on with that.
Oh, there was way more.
Yeah.
Bitch. You should have asked Antonia.
So for today's Menage a Trois, we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about the trans community, and we're going to talk about the trans community because there's just a lot to unpack. There's a lot there's a lot that I don't know. And I've worked in the LGBT community for years. I've worked with the trans community for years. And again, there's still a lot of stuff that I'm ignorant to. Hell, I identify as a gay man. There's still a lot of gay shit that I just don't know.
Right.
I can keep up with the pronouns.
Right.
There's a lot of pronouns.
I'm like, I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't know I'm just gay. Like, I don't know the pronouns. Like, you know.
Can I say something real quick? To me, it's incorrect English when you say they or them when you're one person.
Thank you.
And that gives me schizophrenia.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It does.
so think about this. So think about this
I'm just
early.
being honest.
So think about this, like early in my baby gay days, when I didn't want to identify like who I was talking to.
Right.
They were, oh, well, who did you go out with? Well, I went out with so-and-so. Well, what did they do? Well, they did this.
Yeah.
They did that.
Yeah.
So there's I understand.
I was just saying that is true.
Yeah. So for me, I understand that there was like a level of, I don't want to say, well,
That shit want nobody in your business.
Right. That's me hiding the other
But you were
person.
a person saying, I'm them.
Right.
I'm looking at you like, he kind of off.
I'm hiding them. I'm not them. I'm hiding them.
but then also think about like when we look at this entire spectrum, the gay, the lesbian, the bi, the whatever, you also have individuals who identify as two-spirit. And so
What?
Schizophrenia.
But when you do think about it, as he said, if I wanted to talk about you and I didn't want someone to know that I was gay, and I say they or them, it's because I'm trying not to give you a gender. But I'm also trying to tell the truth about me being with someone. So that would be the politically correct way to tell someone.
You're talking
But
about
you're hiding
one
for the
person.
person.
Right.
I'm trying to figure it out too. 'Cause I ain't gonna
you're
lie.
trying to
I'm
make
trying to
sense of it.
figure.
You're trying to
I'm
make
trying to
sense
make
of it.
sense of it
Okay,
too.
okay.
Because when people do tell me that they identify with they and them, I'm like, okay, y'all. You know. But I mean, I'm not trying to be offensive. I mean,
You gotta be like, it's just so much going on. But I don't want to like give too much to they and them because we have a special guest. So I'm sorry. I know.
well, no,
my fault.
So that was actually going to be my first question because my pronouns are he and him. So what are your pronouns?
my pronouns are she, hers, of course. But I don't mind. Like some people, like in my family, they do misgender me, and it does kind of frustrate me. But at the same time, I can't be mad at someone because they don't understand. Because at one point, I was a person who did not understand. So
That's big of you saying that.
it's a bit like tolerance. Just like I'm transitioning, they have to transition too.
I respect you for saying that.
And that's a really good way to put it. Just like you've transitioned, they have to transition too. And I feel like, you know, everybody should be there for each other no matter what and respect your decision. However, who are we to say when is the right time? Because some people could look at us and be like, oh, we knew you were gay. You should have been came out. Like, and it's like, well, it's not that easy, you know? So when we think about the shoe on the other foot, then you're absolutely right.
Well,
That was
I have a
good.
question because this has come up a lot in groups, especially within the straight community, and then you have people who want to be identified as other races, and we call it
The Rachel
culture.
Dolezal.
Yeah, we call it culture appropriation and things like that. So when you think of a white person who wants to be black, we did have a former president of the NAACP that we all thought she was black, but she wasn't, and the people dragged her for filth. And then someone brought up and said, well, how can transgender or transsexual women not get the same criticism. What do you say to that?
Oh, that's a tricky one, but I don't think it's the same because you wanting to identify as Black or you hanging out with Black people and picking up on that culture, that's learned. But when you're trans, you don't learn that. From the moment that you're born, regardless of whether you admit it or accept it, you're already trans. You don't become trans. Now, a person can become transsexual by changing their genitalia, but they were already trans. I don't even have to change my gender at all to still be trans because it's up here. It's not
Answered
this.
it. Yeah, you answered it. That was my question. So trans is more so who you think you are and what you think you are, but transsexual is now we're talking genitalia and the body.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And I'm so glad you're here because I've never, like Solomon, like I have a bunch of gay friends, male and female, but I don't really have like a lot of trans friends, that share information and like I get to see their transition and see their experiences and stuff like that. So,
and I think it's also very important, like, to acknowledge that the gay experience is varied because not everybody has the same gay experience. And that's why I think it's important for us to have this conversation tonight because we've talked about the trans community on the show before. And now that we have an individual who identifies as trans, like, we're having this conversation and also acknowledging, like, this is not the trans spokesperson.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Actually, we say that too because people say she said this. That's her opinion.
Right.
It is definitely my opinion.
So this is the Tony experience, and we're having a conversation about the Tony experience.
Yes, I have another question too, because we do have some other experiences of people who. So let me say this: if a straight male, identified straight male, come and date a transgender woman, transsexual, I consider that straight because for one, you identify as a woman. That's what you are, in my opinion. Okay. Mm-hmm. However, I do feel like some trans women want to still be equal to women, and that to me is kind of like they're trying to overshadow women in a way, and I find that to be disrespectful. But that's just my opinion. How do you feel about that?
So myself personally, I never realized that a trans woman was actually a woman because just a piece of information, I was always very transphobic. Uh-huh. Most of my life, I was afraid of trans people because of what it meant to me on the inside. Mm-hmm. So I didn't try to think about that. But once I began to transition, I started talking to a trans man. And it allowed me to view things differently. And ultimately, I was able to discover that it's not the genital area that I'm attracted to. It's the masculine versus the feminine. So with him, he and I were still he and she. I was the she, he was the he. And when I looked at other trans couples, I didn't see a girl that was the man or the man that was really a girl. I didn't see that. I see it just as it is, a man and a woman, because it's the masculine and the feminine. And you're attracted to who you're attracted to. And transitioning really opened my mind to that.
That's good stuff.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So what was the sex like with you and...
Do I really have to answer that?
With you and the...
Oh my
you don't
God.
have to, but it is open. So, I don't know. So just because I feel like, for me personally...
I'm gonna answer you.
But some of the other viewers might want to know, how did, what did y'all do? Like,
okay,
be specific if you could.
So I'm going to be specific because I said I've talked to one, but I've actually talked to two now.
Okay.
One, it seemed a bit more serious, but we never physically had sexual intercourse. So I learned that you don't have to have intercourse to have sex because trans men develop a internal penis. So all you really have to do is create that friction. And also as a trans woman, I'm not really as sexually driven as I was when I was a male.
Really?
So I can get off on a lot of different things, because when you're on things like spironolactone and things like that, that block the testosterone, that it doesn't operate the same. It still works, but it's not attracted to the same types of things. So I would get off with him with us just grinding and us humping around and licking and touching.
Kissing, touching, rubbing.
Just that heat of the moment, that's sexual. Okay. That's like great sexual energy. And I haven't done stuff like that since I was little, like a child. But baby, we used to burn a hole in the cupboard. But now, after that, I experienced a trans man who was very open-minded. And I learned that whenever they say getting head, it really is getting head, because it's kind of like you're sucking, like, it's weird. It's like a small penis.
It is.
But it's physically going to ejaculate. It's just like it's going to bust a nut.
Oh, wow.
So I learned that was literally like me losing my virginity. So, yeah, that was different. I still have not had sexual intercourse with a trans male, but that's next, because I have not dated a male at all since I started transitioning.
Really?
And it's been a whole year. I've not.
Why is that?
It's just different. I swear, it's kind of, I don't know if I'm a lesbian now or what. Because it's different. It's something about, like, a man don't do it for me like that no more, because
oh God, don't say that, girl.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. A trans male knows how to treat a girl. They open the doors for you. They pull out your chair. They're going to do everything and make you feel real cunty.
Do you think that they're doing it like to make you feel more cunty? Do you think they're like not going out of their way, but they're like, okay, let me step into my role because this is who I want to be. So let me make you feel like a lady.
Yes.
Okay.
So
it's a give situation, because I'm making you feel like a lady. And in return, you're making me feel like a man by accepting that.
Right,
by letting
exactly.
me do that.
Right, exactly.
That was going to be my question, because I was wondering when you first started talking if the level of intimacy that you've been experiencing has increased.
It's very weird. It honestly, outside of me dealing with those couple of individuals, nothing. I don't even get the urge to masturbate most of the time.
Really?
So it's been times where I would masturbate just because I'm just telling myself to do it.
Because you haven't done it.
Because I don't want to lose it. You know what I'm saying? When
I say intimacy, I'm not talking about like the sexual energy. I'm really talking about that closeness.
Oh, yes. That's on 1,000, honestly. The first trans male that I was talking to, I've never been the type of person to sit on the phone and go to sleep on the phone and
that's me
lay in the bed with you and stare at you in your eyes and just cuddle up. And I've never been like that. But now, yes, I love that. And just to have a trans male behind you is just like, it's nothing there,
it's like double
but
support,
it's so much
right?
there.
Right.
It's so much there. They make you feel so secure. And honestly, I don't know if I'm coming back to dick, boo.
Are you serious?
I don't know if I'm coming back to dick, boo. I don't know. I mean, it's different. And I was 100% against it. My gay mother, Mercedes, she introduced me to him, and she told me, she was like, you remember you told me you wanted to try dipping this pond on this side? I was like, oh, girl. You can tell him to come get in my bed. And it kicked off. Yeah. And it just went somewhere that I didn't expect it to. It didn't work, but it showed me something that I was attracted to that I didn't know I was
You
attracted
learned something about yourself with them, right?
Because I'm not attracted to females at all. Okay. Not at all whatsoever. Oh, God. I'm sorry. I had to think about it. But being with a trans male is not like being with a female. Yeah.
So you bring a good question. So because transgender is a woman who know they're a woman, but transsexual are women who know they're a woman, but they transition into, they get the female genitalia. Do you feel like that's important to make you a woman?
For some people, that is important. Just like me having curves is important to me, but me having a vagina is a no-no. I don't need that to feel like a woman. But without curves, I felt incomplete. Without breasts, I feel incomplete. Those are the things that to me make me feel whole.
Yeah, so it's really person specific. So, and it's like you're saying a lot of things that kind of contradict the stereotype of a person that identifies as trans. So I'm so thankful that you're here.
And honestly, that's what I'm here for. To me, I feel like this journey here. I'm just turning 37 years old. I feel like this is my purpose right now, to change the stigma, to make people have a different opinion of trans people, to be that voice for the trans people, for that silenced trans person who never was able to actually speak out because of what other people felt about trans people. That's what I'm here for. And I get these messages every day. Oh my God, you inspire me. And I came out to my family and I started my hormones and this, that, and that feels so good. Because it's not something, I'm not trying to convince people to transition.
Right.
I'm trying to convince people to be yourself. Be who you are. Because those people who you're trying to impress or those people who you're reaching for that approval from, if they love you, they're still going to love you. And if they don't, they never cared about you in the first place.
Snap.
Yes. That's really good. We're going to continue. I don't want to put you on the spot immediately, but we like to have our guests ask us questions as well. So I'm not going to ask you like right now unless you have some off the top of your head. But at some point during the show, it would be nice if you just ask us a question. It could be literally A to Z, funny, serious, whatever, informative. But yeah, ask us. I would love for you to ask us a question.
Okay.
I have no question for you since somebody want to ask questions.
I didn't say I didn't ask. I wanted to extend the
Hey, what
offer.
questions do you have?
Look at your card, girl. Because you had a bunch of them on there.
Bamboo. That's all I can
Right.
Bamboo.
So I guess the question I have, when you decided to transition, did you ever have like the fear of what comes with being trans?
Yes. That's all I saw at first. Because I never wanted to transition. Honestly, I was one of those people who I'm not a Bible thumper at all, but that's against God to me. Transitioning. Everything that I believe in, what I stand for right now, it goes against that. So I never would have I went into a transition at all. But when I decided to, it was because I feel, and anybody can get mad all they want, God put this on my heart. I swear to God, God put this on my heart because I went to sleep one night and I prayed about something else, something completely different. I was asking God for answers for something completely different. And he told me the next morning when I woke up was to transition because my mission is to help other people. I have so many trans friends who have been slain, thrown in the trash can, murdered, discarded, and nobody talked about it. That's the hurtful part, that people don't respect you enough to even put you on the news like Trayvon Martin. They just ball you up, throw you in the trash can, and everybody forget about you. I'm not letting it happen no more. It can still happen, but I'm going to talk about it. And if I can change one person's opinion, I've done my job here on earth.
Well, you gonna make me talk.
Right.
I saw your little eyes tearing up.
I talked about that earlier because like it's unseen, unheard if you're not around it. And for me, I feel like our Black community is really divided. But in my opinion, I feel like we do the trans community disservice when we associate it with the gay community. Because y'all are complete. I don't consider y'all as gay. Y'all not gay to me. You know what I mean?
Either.
Y'all are not in a heterosexual community either, but like y'all are your own community, y'all need your own voice. Yes. And when we try to group everything with gay because it's not straight aligned with, it messes up y'all mission.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
we definitely have a bad rep. People assume that. Please don't be mad, people.
They're gonna be mad.
Yeah, so we always give a disclaimer.
Black
Thanks for
women,
having us.
they always feel threatened with trans women. We don't want your man. Our mission is not to trick no man. Our mission is not to get a man. Our mission is not to confuse you and make you believe that we're really a
And
woman.
that's the first
Some
thing people
do
think is that, oh, you
Of
wanna
course,
trick
some people
somebody.
do that,
Right.
but that's that person.
Right.
But that is not who I am, and that is not what trans people are.
Right.
I want people to see completely different. We just want to be who we are. Because let me tell you one thing about me. I was a little, probably not even 5 years old, looking at myself in the mirror, wondering why I didn't have hair bows and why I didn't have on the little ruffle socks and the Easter dresses. I can name plenty of my cousins whose Easter dresses I've definitely had a better run in than they did.
I know that's
But it's just crazy. Nobody taught me how to be that way.
Right.
That was just who I was.
Right.
But I got in trouble for that. I got whooped for that. I got, chastised. And I grew up believing that I had to pretend to be masculine, and I can only do that behind closed doors. And that's the majority of the world. People will not be themselves because they're afraid of what somebody else is going to say or how somebody else is going to view them. I've even heard that, people, they transition back, they kill themselves, this, that, and other. Guess what? They're not doing it because this didn't make them happy. They're doing it because of what those people
They couldn't
are making
handle
them
it.
feel like.
Right. They couldn't handle it.
They're making them feel like something is wrong with them. They're teasing them. They're tormenting them. People get abused. If you go into the wrong neighborhood, you might just get beat up or even killed just for walking in the neighborhood. Why?
Yeah.
But what's confusing to me when a man is attracted to a trans woman, they don't know if you a trans woman or not. You tell them, then they get embarrassed. And they're like, oh, I'm gay. I said, no, you're not gay because I'm a man. Now, you attracted to me, we look completely different.
Right,
I'm clearly a boy. You clearly look like a female.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So why is there shame around that? Why is that so much shame?
I think it's
when you're
pride.
attracted to a female.
Well, I don't know.
Toxic masculinity.
Right.
They're trying to believe that makes them a faggot. That is what
When it really
I hate to
comes to
throw.
me.
That's just how people think.
But you also have to think about, and I think you brought up a really good point, Rodney, about the trans community having their own voice, and that we can't just lump them into the gay experience.
Right.
But I think it's also important to realize that there are so many parallels between all the different experiences, because today might be the first time that I've ever heard about internalized transphobia. But I have had many conversations about internalized homophobia. And then just that shame and that toxic masculinity that we are talking about now, like that runs through heterosexual, gay culture, trans culture, like it exists. And so there's so many different parallels, but we all want to be separate. But we're all essentially telling the same story.
Peep this scenario. I'm not going to say every man wants to try it, but it's plenty of men who want to try something with a transgender person at least one time. But those are the ones who get upset. They get upset not at the trans person, they get upset with themselves. Because after they actually do the act, they feel gay. They feel, oh, I'm a faggot. So guess what?
Guilty
I'ma
and
kill 'em
confused.
and throw them in the trash. That is my opinion on how so many trans people are murdered because the person is upset because they're attracted.
I have a
That's
question
so sad
too.
to me.
Because to
You
me,
have a lot of questions.
I do.
Most of them more than anybody.
I mean, I'm not asking.
We don't get a chance, girl. But go ahead. Ask the,
I won't. This
ask the 101 question.
Then Devin asked your
Yes.
question.
So you made me forget because you was crying about not having a question.
Oh, they fighting over me. I don't know how to compose myself.
But to me, how do you feel when people say all trans women are so oversexed. Like they just gotta be sexual all the time. Like they don't have careers and things like that. What do you say to those people?
I try to tell them that that's them, but that's not me. And that's the image that trans women have had for so long. And I blame that on the fact that trans people couldn't get jobs for a very long time. Back in the day, trans women couldn't get jobs, so they had to do sex work. They had to be escorts. They had to be strippers, prostitutes, all those things because they couldn't get a regular 9-to-5 job. It's 2022 now. I'm not going to say discrimination does not exist, but it's a lot easier now. But they're still accustomed to sex.
And I mean, I think we also have to recognize progress. And so even with the most recent elections, we've had how many trans individuals were elected into office?
I try not to be too political. Don't make me look bad.
Okay. So, I think it's like 2 or 3 or 6. Is it 6?
My 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And we're trans men too.
So people don't be like,
Well, no, I mean, I know it's at least 2 or 3, and 6 was a high number for me. So I was like,
That
wow.
is.
It was a couple trans
I
men.
definitely didn't know that, though.
Yeah. And so we're now seeing a lot more trans individuals, openly trans individuals who are in political offices and who now have the ability to affect change. And I think that's an amazing thing.
Yes.
Devin?
oh, thank you so much.
Now watch you not have a question.
No, I do have a question. I almost forgot it though. And that would have been so embarrassing. I do have a question though. So I remember you talked about earlier, you were saying like, you got whoopings and stuff like that growing up. So now times have changed like many years later. So when you're like home for the holidays, when you're like with your family, what is it like? Is it like, okay, I can be myself, I can come and like cross my legs with my dress on? Or is it like, I'm gonna put on some sweats and tone it down? Like what is like the new normal like for you and how does it make you feel?
New normal. I like that.
So, for me, family is split right down the middle. My father, he lives about 30 minutes away from where the rest of my family lives. And then my mom's dead. But my sisters, they live in the opposite direction. So my sisters, by my mother and their children, I have a pretty big family. This is me. I don't have to tone down. I don't have to do any of that. It's always been over the top. Even before I came out as trans, it was still over the top. I was still extra gay. But as far as my father, I would have to put on face. And it was hard enough admitting that I was gay, and it took a long time to get the approval after I came out as gay. But when I told him that I was trans, that was a different situation. He hung up in my face firstly, and I thought we were never going to speak again. The conversation was really ugly. I yelled, I cried, I blamed him for a lot of my mental health issues and, all of that. And it didn't get any better for a long time. It took about 6 months. And one thing that really hurt me with my father is his retirement party. I even pitched in for the party, and he asked me not to come because he's a man of the church. So he asked me not to come.
Oh my God.
But I came anyway.
Oh.
But I went to his house before just to let him know, hey, Daddy, I don't want to disrespect you, but this is me. I didn't choose this, and you should know that. Remember, and I laid out specific examples, and I let him know, hey, this is just me, and I'm just trying to get you to see who I am and let you in so you can have a part of me, because if you don't, you're going to lose me. And I saw it in his face. I got through to him. And that day forward, I could go to him with a sports bra on,
Yes, that's
leggings,
amazing.
whatever. However, when was this? It was about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. My sister was about to have surgery, and all of us were over there, and I had on my best face and my best hair, my best outfit, my best heels.
Yes.
And I just felt so at home. Everybody welcomed me. My sisters and brothers already welcomed me. But it was different with my dad because to have him picking up the phone to take pictures with us and all of that, it was just like, bitch, you've arrived. You made it. That feels good.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you because it takes a lot.
At that moment, it was like full circle. Full circle. I got everything that I wanted. And now all I have to do is just finish my transition.
So what is your finished transition for you?
Good question.
I know they look real, but they not real.
Really?
I know they look real, but they're not.
Okay. So in case I want to be Beyonce for Halloween next year, after the show, can you let me know?
I am the queen of body. I can make it as big or as small as you want.
Okay, well let's definitely chat because I need a little like.
I can definitely do it.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question before we go to the letter.
Okay.
So what would you tell someone who was struggling with transition or struggling with trying to be who they want to be?
Can you elaborate a bit? What are they struggling with?
So if they're struggling with their identity, like they know in their mind they want to be a female, but I guess it's, the people around them that's keeping them from coming out.
The best advice that I could give them is to have faith in those people. Because like I said earlier, if they really love you, they're going to be there. They might not like the decision that you're going to make. And it may even take them a little bit of time, like my daddy. But if they love you, they will be there. You are enough. Nobody's going to hate you if they care about you. That's not how love works.
Well, let me follow up, Doug. What about the ones who do lose their family? What do you say to those people?
Oh, I lost a lot of people. Oh. And you will lose a lot of people. It's not gonna like it. Some of my best friends, I've witnessed go through the comments looking for the negative comments to send to each other. People who I thought were people who were gonna be in my life forever. They do not support. And I'm like, how did you not know I was trans? I've always been myself to these people. But they're so mad and they're so against the idea of transitioning. And sometimes you just have to let those people go.
They put a limit because I feel like they're like, okay, you can be gay and you can do this, you can get your nails done.
Are these your gay friends doing
But if you do
Both.
anything else, then that's like too far. Like if you go beyond that, then that's too far. Like a lot of people feel that
You
way.
would be
Put you in the
surprised
box.
at how many gay people do not like trans people. You would also be surprised at how many people hate me because I'm transitioning because they were attracted to me as a male. That is the most ridiculous idea I've ever heard.
I don't like women
but I hear
either,
all
but
the day.
I don't like women, but you are beautiful. When I saw you come into the studio, I'm like,
you.
okay, yes.
I saw her
And I heard the guys talking.
That's her.
And I heard the guys yelling at you from the escalator. I'm like, oh,
He was like, "Oh, you look good, baby."
And Tay, I really want to acknowledge how big your question was, because that was a really good question. And because when you ask for clarification, we don't often take into consideration all the different struggles. And so you briefly talked about mental health, the struggle with mental health, because we don't talk about how people transition, how people change mentally, emotionally, physically, socially. Like there's so many, hell, even economically, because we were talking about people not being able to find work.
Yeah.
And so there are so many dimensions of our wellness that are taken into account that we don't even address.
And all because you are all because you were something other than what you were born. So it's like all of that for that. I don't know. But
Goodness. I hate
I think that question would have to have its own show.
Yeah.
Because when it comes to transitioning and mental health, they go hand in hand because literally growing up all my life, I got compliments all my life. I've always been called fine, sexy as a male. I've always been, looked at that way. But when I looked at myself in the mirror, you would be surprised at how low my self-esteem was. I hated everything about me because I was looking at myself and mentally I was supposed to have hips and thighs and butt. So I was looking at myself and it looked like I was bad built. But to other people, that's a baddie. But to me, ooh, my ass long.
Because it's not what you desire, right?
It just, I didn't look right to myself. And that is something that people do not know or understand. That is called gender dysphoria. Yeah. There is an actual...
Yeah.
Wow.
There is an actual...
And body dysmorphia, all that. Yeah.
So gender dysphoria, I learned, is just basically, you looking at yourself and not identifying with yourself, not realizing what you're looking at because it's registering to you differently in your brain.
And really quick, this goes for anybody. This goes for anybody, heterosexual, trans, people that think they're fat, people think that they're too skinny. Like, this literally goes for anybody, right? Okay. You know I do. You're diagnosing me as we're sitting here talking.
And it's weird because gender dysphoria, people do not understand that the cure or the treatment for gender dysphoria is transitioning. Medically diagnosed gender dysphoria, your treatment is hormone therapy, testosterone blockers. That is your treatment.
Right.
But people get mad at you.
Right. What is it?
Dysmorphia. I want to clarify. I don't have the...
So that's body dysmorphia and gender dysphoria.
Yeah.
They're different.
I don't have the gender one. Yeah. I have the body one too. So no shade because I think that I'm pretty already. But no shade. I don't want to be trans, but I do. Like y'all know. But what have I been talking about the whole time?
BBLs.
BBLs, but also love handles.
Keep it real.
But I'm real insecure about the love handle. So I don't want to claim body dysmorphia, but to your point, then it is when people are like, oh, what love handles, what? And I'm like...
I need to stop doing that too because
I definitely understand.
People be like, your body's so nice, you got your stomach ain't big, and you like, bitch. I said it's big.
Right.
Yeah. So I definitely understand both of y'all.
So what would you say to us right now?
Go to Gold's Plastic Surgery.
Oh.
You better plug.
Go to Gold's
Can we get a discount
Surgery.
if you refer?
We'll see.
Because I don't need the BBL. I want the BBL, but I just need the love handles gone. And the gym is not going to do it fast enough. My doctor already told me you used to be like a 2XL. Now you're a small in men, sometimes extra small. You're a 2 in women.
Really?
Yes, I'm like a 2 in women, 4 in women now, but I was a 2XL. Keep in mind that we used to wear baggier clothes back in the day, but I was still like Hollister. I could never fit the largest size in Hollister.
I don't see it.
I got some guy bought me Hollister for my birthday in high school, and I had to take it back. It was extra large because I think they go to a 2X in Hollister in some shirts, and I could not fit it. I had to take it back.
Who bought you Hollister when you were in high school?
I was working at Target, so he bought me Hollister. He was already gay. I felt like, okay, you're my coworker. You just did something nice for a younger coworker.
Mm-hmm. But I want to say this, because people might kind of notice you from a famous show.
Oh, let's talk about that.
And what is that famous show, sis?
Catfish.
And what happened? Because obviously we're saving the letter. So what happened?
So the girls like to make fun of me for being on Catfish, but I was catfished by someone named Menge. He was known to me as Mark, and this was during a period after my mom had died. And I was in an explosion. I had to learn how to walk and all that.
Oh my
God. It was about a 3-year period where I was just depressed, and I couldn't really have a real relationship with anybody. But with him, he gave me that emotional connection that I needed. And it was literally just on the phone. And I knew something was up because we would try to FaceTime and it would always be something. And it was just one time, his dumb homegirl, she was in the background talking about something. All you got to do is do this. And she switched it and he hung up.
So she didn't.
But my ass,
what he was trying to do. Okay.
I just continued just because it really was kind of like therapy to me.
Oh, wow.
And believe it or not, I don't know if I'm even supposed to say this. I didn't reach out to Catfish. He did. Yeah, he reached out to Catfish. They contacted me, and a part of the production was for me to compose a letter to them for them to use as if it was coming from me. But I had already met Framil before the show had aired, and we was about to fight, but I had already met him and found out that he was not real. But we really did talk for a year.
Tell us briefly about the fight, not to cut you off.
We didn't fight. We didn't fight. We was about to fight.
Oh, okay.
We was about to fight because I went a couple of times to see him. And one of those times, the nigga had the nerve to tell me he didn't show up because he got hit by a car. Yeah, this is real. This is real. I got hit by a car. He sent me a picture of his arm in an arm brace. And I zoom in, and it's clearly a hand that he done Googled, a white hand in a old wrinkly white hand.
If you get hit by a car and only your arm is hurt, you can still fuck with me. You need to be in the hospital laid up, okay? Because when I hear hit by a car, I'm like, okay, I need to come to the hospital because you can't walk, you can't move. I need to call your mom. Like all that. That is crazy.
So, Tony, I want to say graciously thank you for blessing our platform.
Yes.
This was a very good conversation. I do want you back.
Yes.
And I think we should do like a trans special episode, like invite like another
More in depth.
Yeah, like just go really into this, make it all about y'all. But you spoke very well. You were very well spoken.
Yes,
Thank you. For the people who wants to follow you and follow your transition and all that stuff, where can they follow you?
So, I have a brand new YouTube channel. It's called Transitioning Tony. So transitioning like sincerely in your name. Transitioning Tony. I have not uploaded my first video. I'm dropping it next week on Wednesday at 7:00.
Yes.
Got the exclusive here.
Right. You heard it here first on Open Relationship Podcast. Don't play.
My Instagram and social is _Tony, TONI, .Blanco, BLANCO. That's _Tony .Blanco _ on Snapchat, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram.
Yes.
Also, Goals Plastic Surgery is actually giving me all of my trans surgeries for free because they believe in me and my story.
Oh my God.
And they're tracking my progress. So there's going to be more footage and videos of them tracking my entire transition on a show, web series called Behind the Body. There are 2 episodes there already. But I definitely feel that this is way bigger than me.
Yes.
It's way bigger than me.
Yes.
And it means a lot to me what they're doing for me.
Yes. We love you and we appreciate you for coming. We're gonna be in contact after this, but I literally like fell in love with you like tonight. I really did. So
And I've always loved you, you know that. So
Well, I appreciate you guys having me because I was a little nervous at first. I didn't know what you guys were going to ask me, even though I got a list of questions. Y'all still took it a little detour,
As always.
But I enjoyed myself. I'm really comfortable, and I would love to come back.
Thank you.
We will be glad to have you.
yes.
And so for our openers, again, thank you for joining the 4 of us and our +1 as we swallow hard topics and spit difference of opinions.
Bye, guys.
Bye.